compels me, and I love it for it, to be against discrimination of any kind in our country.
Our rights come from nature and God, not from government.
All God asks of you is faithfulness.
35 years of fighting for the family, standing for the church, laboring to return to a moral and biblically based culture.
This is the American Family Association at AFA Today.
Well, I would love to have your conversation about something very important today. It is AFA Today on AFR Talk, and our phone number is 1-800-589-8840. 888-589-8840. Sorry about that. I sometimes get those numbers confused. That's why Brent's there. He keeps me on track. Anyway, welcome to AFA Today in the AFR studios in New York City. Kevin McCullough, glad to be with you, even on the beginning of this holiday week. And as we are thinking about the issues that are facing our nation right now, I can't think of anything more important in our immediate future than something that is symbolized by what happened this last weekend. I want you to consider what I'm about to tell you, and I want you to ask yourself the question: what on earth does it mean? What does it mean to have the following all be 100% true? Okay, what I'm about to tell you, every bit of it, 100% true. What I want you to ask yourself is, what difference does it make? And then I want you to tell me by opening up the phone lines. I posted on Facebook this morning an observation that came out of this last weekend's news. This last weekend there was news that there was a deal struck with Iran. This deal was going to see to it that sanctions, number one, are lifted, at least in the short run, against Iran, and that, number two, that Iran's going to promise, Scout's honor, not to develop any more uranium towards nuclear weapons. That. If I understand the compromise that was made, the deal that was struck, the thing that we signed off on, this is what it is. We're going to take your promise to play nice, Iran, for a period of time, 6 months or so, and we're gonna actually ease sanctions against you. Now, the Iranian people are the descendants of the Persian Empire. They're the people that invented chess. Pretty intense game. I don't know many people that are very good at it. I'm certainly not. But one of the skills that you have to have in being good at chess is you have to anticipate what the other person's move is going to be, and then calculate the number of options that they have and weigh them against the number of options that you have. And so when we say to the number one terrorist exporter in the country, in the world rather, that we are going to play nice with you and leave you more or less unaccountable, I'm wondering what message that sends to them. I'm wondering what message that sends to us. So here we have, over the weekend, the news breaks, dead of night, John Kerry, Secretary of State, and President Obama strike a deal with Iran that no one seems to like. No one can seem to understand it, and we're told that this is strategic. We're told that it is important. We're told that it is the right thing to do. We're told that it is the good thing to do. Well, sometimes when I hear that, there is confirmation in witnesses, right? So if you can get a witness to say, yeah, I think that's going to work really well for us, or maybe not so well, well, then that usually sheds some light on the soundness or the validity of the deal as it was made. So when I turn and I see that our only ally in the region, the government of Israel, believes that this is one of the worst deals that any power has ever struck with a terrorist state, I am somewhat then not as convinced as the President and the Secretary of State would like me to be. See, if I see that the state of Israel is, in fact, now gravely concerned that what this is going to do is under the fake cover of this deal, give Iran another, 6 months minimum of being able to develop the nuclear technology for what they say is peaceful purposes, but what we are fairly certain of is that they are, enriching uranium at degrees far higher than that. That's problematic. So what I put on Facebook this morning was, because I felt like this was important, is that President Obama sold out our ally in this deal. That Israel is not in favor of it, that he went ahead with it anyway, and that he sold them out. But then I'm confused about something else. I'm not so much confused as much as I am disturbed by it, because it was on September 11th in 2012 that this president sold out his ambassador and the Navy SEALs that were requesting help in Benghazi. He sold out those guys. One of them, part of his administration, his ambassador to Libya, killed in those attacks. He sold out our ally Israel in the dead of night with this deal to Iran. And as part of this deal with Iran, there had been great pressure put on the president from the ACLJ, the Seculo family, others of us, those that have been signing the petition defendthem.net, and others, have been requesting vehemently to the White House, to the president, please, 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 Mr. President, please make, as part of these discussions that you're going to have with the terrorist state, please insist that not a single sanction will get lifted, not one piece of appeasement will occur unless you free Pastor Saeed Abedini, an American citizen. He is one of ours who has been wrongfully imprisoned on trumped-up charges, transferred to a death penalty prison, has been constantly tortured, denied medical attention, a number of other things in the prison, and he was left out. He was abandoned. He was sold out. He was betrayed by the President and the Secretary of State. So here's what I'm coming to the really harsh conclusion of, and it's a painful one, because I don't want to think of the office of the president as being capable of being inhabited by somebody that would do all of this. But the president abandoned his own ambassador in Benghazi. He abandoned our allies in his discussions with Iran. And he abandoned his citizens in refusing to discuss Pastor Saeed Abedini with the Iranian representatives. This is a problem, is it not? When you think about what a person is willing to sell out, and you begin to see some consistencies, is this a pattern of something that we should be concerned about? Is Kevin off on a rant that the pizza that he had last night didn't agree with him, and so we're going to forgive him this observation of the fact that that this administration turns its back on its ambassadors, its allies, and its citizens? And some of you are listening to me right now, and you're getting really, really mad that I have connected these dots. You're getting really angry that I am saying he has betrayed his ambassador, he has betrayed his allies, and that he's betrayed his citizens. But you cannot argue that he hasn't. You cannot argue that he did not abandon his ambassador in Benghazi, or the Navy SEALs that tried to help, or their repeated calls for help that we know came to the attention of the administration and the stateside officials. You cannot make the argument that they neither knew nor took action, because they did not take action, and they did know that help was needed. You can't argue that he didn't sell out Israel, because this deal with Iran creates a vulnerability for them as a nation unlike any vulnerability that any U.S. administration has left Israel with in the past. On the hopes and the wink-wink and the nod-nod that maybe Iran will keep its word, because they've been so good at doing that in the past. So you can't make the argument that he didn't sell out our ally. You can't make the argument that he didn't sell out his own ambassador. And you can't make the argument that he didn't sell out or abandon his own citizen. When there was great numbers of Americans, many of whom listened to this broadcast, that had begged the president through petitions and through speaking out and through phone calls to the White House and other things saying, Mr. President, please make sure that the release of Pastor Saeed Abedini is part of the discussions and, in fact, is a non-negotiable in this matter. And at the end of the day, you cannot come to a conclusion other than that the president sold out his ambassador, sold out our allies, sold out his citizens. So I have a question, and it may be a painful one for some, and it may make some others angry, and I hope it doesn't, but that's too bad. I have to ask it. Does this pattern of selling people out and abandoning those that he should be loyal to bother you? Is this a character trait? Is this a pattern of behavior that you would accept? Let me just make it like this. Would you accept this outcome from someone in your own marriage? If someone in your own marriage betrayed the family, betrayed the friends of the family, and betrayed the spouse, would you find that acceptable? Would you live with that? Would you say, okay, this is okay, this is good? Would you accept it in a business partner? He sold out his company, he sold out his vendors, and he sold out his staff. Would that work for you? Would that be acceptable? Would it be acceptable if they were part of your family, part of your workplace? I don't know, but fill in whatever scenario you want to. But in under what circumstances do we find it acceptable for the person that we hired and sent to Washington, D.C. to do the job that we hired him to do? He's not our ruler. He's our servant. He doesn't sit above us. He is accountable to us. All right, let's be very clear. He's not a king. He's not a tyrant. He's not a dictator. He doesn't have that power. He's not lawfully given those powers. He is required to report to us about what he is doing, and he is required to act on our behalf in the welfare of the administration of the business of this nation. But he's been hired for a job. He hasn't been elected dictator. And I would like to open the phone lines, especially for those of you who voted for him. If you voted for him, I want you to tell our screener that you did. I want to put you to the front of the line. But here's what I want to know. Is there anyone that you personally believe that he will not abandon or sell out under undue political influence? Is there an explanation for the abandonment or the sellout of what he has done? I want to know your thoughts on this. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. It's a Monday edition of AFA Today here on AFR Talk. I'm Kevin McCullough, and we're glad you're here.